Hey, what's up, family? Today we're gonna do another Donald Goines book, and as you can see, give you a close up there. This one's called Cry Revenge. And just to give you a pretext of the beginning, what it's talking about, basically, it says in the very beginning, it says the streets run red with blood when war breaks out between blacks and Chicanos. So now we're gonna get right into it, what they mean by all this. Now this book, it starts out with Curtis and Dan, right? They was in the backyard with these other Mexican cats, and they was gambling.
Yeah, it's actually two types of gangs, the blacks and the Chicanos.
Yes. So like I said, it starts out, they're in the backyard of Curtis' house, and they gambling.
Yeah.
And to make a long story short, Dan and Curtis is swindling the Mexicans out of their money. They cheating them. So they cheat them out of their money, and they going back and forth arguing and say, man, yo, you cheating with them dice, this and that. And he said, man, you just don't get it, man. You too slow to get what we doing. But anyway, they cheat them out of their money, and in the end, they was real upset that they cheat them out of their money. But it was like, man, you better get the hell up out of here, this and that. So that's the end of that.
Right.
So now when they go in the house after the Mexicans leave, Curtis' mother got food for them. And every time she's talking to Kurt, you can tell she has a little bit of this heart, she don't feel too good about how he lived his lifestyle. And she always reminds him, like, boy, you out there cheating them people out of that money. One day it ain't gonna be so pretty. You need to leave them streets alone. She don't like his lifestyle, but still her son.
But remember, when they were actually going back a little bit, but remember when they were cheating on the game, remember that word got around.
That's the thing. We're going to get to that. I like that. You're right. So I want you not to forget that.
Yeah.
Because what happens, so now she makes them food for Dan and Kurt, and all of a sudden, Kurt's brother comes home, Billy. Now he looks just like Kurt, but he's just tall and lean. All he do is play basketball. And the moment when Billy walks in the house, oh boy, Kurt's mother, her face lights up when he comes around.
Yeah.
This her baby. He living a good life. He ain't out here running the streets. My baby play ball and he doing good things.
And
you can see the difference.
But it's very sad because it's like he's saying, why my mother always looking at me in some kind of way?
Because he running the streets. But then Billy.
But in reality,
oh my God, I don't know why. I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know why I thought for the way y'all was explaining it. Isn't that part like on Scarface?
Yeah.
I don't know why I was hearing y'all talk about the story.
I know the part you're talking about when Scarface went to visit the mother.
Yeah, the son.
And the moment, I like that. The moment he walked in, the mother gave him this distasteful look. Like
I know y'all was talking about this. I was like, wait, this is just sounding like Scarface. That part.
And even when Gina said, "But Mama, he's your son," and remember the mother said, "Son, I wish I had one." She was like, everything he touched, it turns to shit. Like, nothing's good with Tony. When Tony come around, it's no good. It's no good, Gina. He's no good. He's no good. That's how the mother looked at Kurt somewhat. But anyway, so now, moving on. So now they got this money, Kurt and Dan. And now they're like, yo, man, we need to hook up with the Mexican guy named Fat George. Man, he's the connect. We could get some good dope from him, and we could get on our feet and become big. So they hook up with George. They see him at the spot. And they actually get in his car to take a ride. I thought that part, it was a little small part here what I'm talking about. Because when they met up with George, right away all the dope fiends was outside. And when they asked George for a ride, they got to the car. Some other dope fiends came and said, hey man, I hear you riding them up the way, man. You think it's okay if we could get in and get a ride? You going that way anyway, man. And I like how you got to deal with crackheads like this, or people, period. George said, hey man, listen, blood. I don't run no fucking taxi cab service, so you gonna have to find your own motherfucking way up there, man. I don't ride people. He said, but you ride. He said, I don't give a fuck who I'm riding. I don't run a taxi cab service. Because the purpose is you gotta talk to him like that, because George knew if you gave him a ride, everybody else would have been coming at you like a weak person. This happens on the streets, in jail, wherever. When people see you being nice too nice, they try to take advantage of you. And eventually you gotta be like, enough's a damn enough.
Exactly.
But anyway, so they riding, and Fat George always kind of liked Kurt, but he never really liked Dan.
Why is that?
Right? It's the same reason why Kurt knew that Dan used dope every now and then. But he knew he only used very little bits of it. And Fat George knew that he was on the stuff.
But maybe he's like that because he doesn't use it.
No, Dan does.
But Dan does. But I'm saying, how he's able to say nah, because his life was about to just end with his own ways of being drug addict, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna get to you. Keep jumping ahead.
I'm
Keep
sorry,
jumping way
I'm so
ahead.
sorry. Well, maybe that's
But
why
you're
you don't
right.
like him. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, because George already knew, man, he had a drug problem. So I think that's what it was. So when they was talking about the dealings, because Kurt wanted to hook up with the money they made off the Mexicans, and that was another funny thing. Because later, when Kurt and them got at the pool hall, they got in an argument with somebody else, and the first thing out of the person's mouth was like, "Look, I'm not them Fernandez brothers. You ain't gonna get over me like you got over them, hustling them for that damn money." And they was like, "How y'all know about that?" And it was somewhere else. They got into something else, and somebody said the same thing. Man, we ain't no fool like them Fernandez brothers. Y'all ain't gonna be fooled. And they was like, damn, man, everybody got the business out there already, man. We just finished gambling with them. They tell these damn Mexicans, they act like a tight-knit community where they tell all the damn business. Like, damn. But anyway, while they was talking to Fat George in the car, every time Kurt and Fat George would have a discussion about the drugs that he was gonna get him, Dan would give a piece of his advice. And Fat George was openly disrespectful towards Dan, always. He'd be like, look, man, we talking. Why don't you just be quiet back there? And after a while, Dan just got fed up with, the blatant disrespect.
Yeah.
So that's when he started giving his reprisal. And as always, I love to give a word of the day. And the word of the day for this book, because the book is called Cry Revenge, is going to be reprisal. And if you look up the word reprisal, it means what, Ashley?
The act of retaliation.
Sort of revenge, right? So the act of retaliation. So Dan was tired of Fat George constantly disrespecting him, telling him, we talking, you be quiet. You could get out of the car if you want, but men gotta talk. So eventually Dan said, man, here go your half of the money, Kurt. I ain't dealing with that fat motherfucker. I'm sick of him, man, running his fat motherfucking mouth. So he got out of the car and spit on the hood of Fat George's car. And Fat George, you can see the steam in his eyes. He's like, that son of a bitch. And he said, man, your fat ass ain't gonna do nothing. And spit again on his car. And that's when Fat George was like, I'm gonna get that mother effer. If it's to the day I die, but one day I'm gonna get that son of a bitch. And so Kurt told Dan, yo, man, I'll catch up with you later. So to make a long story short, to speed ahead, Kurt started dealing with Fat George. And he started progressing in life, doing very well as a drug dealer, coming up, word getting around and everything. But on the other side of town, finds out that Dan becomes a strung out junkie.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Right?
That is very sad.
And then
But he didn't know it though.
Kurt didn't know
He didn't know it.
But word was getting to him that his boy was on drugs. And then one day while he was at his new pad, he hooked up with this Mexican woman. They became a couple. And when they got tight, one day, because he knew she was selling drugs for Fat George. So one day when Kurt was leaving, she said, I don't feel comfortable being in this house by myself, knowing that Fat George is coming by. And that's when Kurt was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. What you saying? Well, he coming at you some kind of wrong way? She said, nah, it's the way he be undressing me with his eyes. And he don't like black folks. And Kurt was like, nah, what are you talking about? Fat George is okay. He cool. He ain't like the rest of the Mexicans.
You got too much trust in him, though.
Yeah.
Too much trust.
And then that's when Maria, she said, look, Kurt, don't be stupid. She said, look, if you notice, he only sell drugs to black folks to make y'all all high, disoriented, and all messed up. You ever thought about that? Don't be stupid. And she said, matter of fact, look at you. You don't use drugs or nothing. But how many times he had came to you and said, come on, Kurt, smoke a little. Here's a little. It's free. It's on me. Snort a little. And for the first time, Kurt was like, you're right. He constantly trying to get me high when he know I don't use. She said, exactly. And she said, let's not forget about your friend Dan. And that's when Kurt said, what do you mean forget about Dan? Yo, where you going with all this? And that's when she said, it's because of Fat George why your friend Dan is strung the hell out. And he was like, what? He really didn't know.
Yeah. See?
She said, oh, you didn't know? That girl Gloria that Dan used to be with, she was hired by Fat George. The word, she said, you gotta remember, I'm Mexican. And we all know the business, what goes on. She said, George hired that Mexican girl to be with Dan in the first place. And he hired her to make him a drug addict. And with the promise of giving her money as long as she string him the fuck out. But once she get him so strung out, she is to leave his ass. And that's just what she did. And she said, and that's what happened to your boy Dan. That's why he got so strung out. And ain't nothing worse than when a man is already strung out and now he don't have no drugs. And now the only thing he do got is his woman or his believed to be woman. And now she leave you too.
Leaves. Yeah,
that's why Dan was down on his luck. It was just like a drug addict, just like, man, I ain't got nothing, man. you know, I don't got no drugs, got no money, no place. Or like the old saying, I ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And my woman left me too. That's a man down on his luck.
Yeah. And in the real world, that's how there's a lot of people out there just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when she explained all this to Kurt, Kurt was like, that fat bastard George, he really is a son of a bitch. That motherfucker. So now, one day Dan do come by Kurt way and they talk. And he's like, yo, why don't we hook up the way we used to? But Dan realized, man, you real messed up. I can't hook up with you.
Exactly.
Now your part, the cops, they was out searching for drug dealers. And they came across was it Ruben? They came across one of the Fernandez brothers and a big thing happened. They wound up shooting and killing him.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But this the part that made...
but that's what the mentality of cops was. We are to get them and kill them.
And they killed them. But the thing that made me upset was now the Fernandez brothers, they thought Kurt killed their brother. Or he had something to do with it. Because they knew he was dealing with Fat George. And they was always like, ever since that damn nigga Kurt was messing with Fat George, man, we've been getting hell. Man, I can't stand them niggas.
Wasn't it Billy?
Nah.
No, it was Kurt.
Billy's a basketball player. He don't deal with his own brother Kurt and none of that street life.
That's right.
But the Fernandez brothers, their brother got killed by the cops. But they thought Kurt had something to do with it.
The whole time, Billy and his brother was actually, or his boy was actually playing basketball.
Ball. It had nothing to do with Kurt life.
And
none
you
of
know
that street
how
life.
they had the sixth sense? How everybody has sixth sense, whether people believe it or not?
Uh-huh.
He was walking, and all of a sudden he's feeling some kind of uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
His feeling, and he was being watched.
Mm-hmm.
When he looked around, there was a couple of the
it was the Mexicans. They was following. And when they caught up to Kurt, he knew. Oh, then he tried to run. He's like, "Where you going, nigga?" They said, "Yo, it's because of you. Our freaking brother Ruben got killed." And he was like, "Yo, man, what the heck you talking about? I ain't got nothing to do with that." And they said, "Yeah, you Kurt's brother, right? Well, just like our brother got killed, you gonna feel the pain." They start beating on him and all that and dropped him and all that. And he's like, "Man, I ain't got nothing to do with this."
Remember, Billy, all his life was just basketball.
That's it.
He had dreams.
He had nothing to do with the street life.
He would go out and be a big star.
And they beat him real bad. And after they beat him, they walked off. And one of the Fernandez brothers turned back around.
Yeah.
Pulled his pistol out.
Shot him right in the back of his neck. He said, "Now you ain't gonna walk.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna play ball.
Your ball career is over."
Yeah.
And he was paralyzed.
Meanwhile, all this time it was who killed his fam, the boys, the Chicanos.
It was the cops.
It was the cops.
It was the cops. So now word get to Kurt's mother and sister, and they rush to the hospital to see Billy, and sure enough, he's paralyzed for life and messed up, and the mother and sister is broken all up. And now all of a sudden, Curtis goes to the hospital, and when he gets there, right away, the mother, he don't even really get in the room. The mother just starts, as soon as she see Curtis, she said, "It's your fault. It's your fault why he's messed up. It should have been you in that bed. It should have been you. You the reason he's in it." He's like, "Ma, I had nothing to do with it." She's like, "You son of a bitch. It's you why he's in there."
She was pissed.
She's like, "I hate you. I hate you. I'll never want to see you again." So you're right.
She was just hurt. It was all full of emotion.
And anger. But see, you know what I can't stand about that anger? That anger, the truth comes out. Because this is how she always felt about Kurt. Anyway, remember, when Billy would show up, she would light up like a Christmas tree. So happy. When Kurt would show up, she'd be disappointed. So now that that full blow of anger come out, this how all that was wrong what she said. She may apologize later, who knows. But that anger made the truth come out how you really felt.
Exactly.
It's like a person being drunk. You ever been around a person that's really pissy drunk? Then they start mouthing out. It's almost like a truth serum. They start telling the family business, the secrets, and all this stuff that they shouldn't be saying. And you be like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is drunk. Oh my God, he's gonna start mouthing. We gotta be careful around him." That's like that statement I remember D.L. Hughley said years ago in one of his comments where he said, "We all got that one uncle that come to the cookout and gets so drunk, he start telling the family business. Like he starts saying stuff like, 'When y'all gonna tell that boy that's not his real daddy?'" Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. When a person get drunk, they start mouthing off. They don't shut up. They get more and more talkative. Or in her case, the mother's so angry that the truth start coming out in a bad way.
But do you think it is the truth?
That's how she felt. She always felt her two brothers, her two sons, The good one, the bad one. That's how she felt.
That's sad, though.
It is.
That is sad.
So now, Curtis, he has a great deal of reprisal. Remember, reprisal means...
The act of retaliation.
Yeah. Remember, the name of the book is called Cry Revenge, Retaliation, Revenge. So now, that's all he got on his mind is reprisal, the act of revenge, retaliation. So now he's seeking out the Fernandez brothers. He's like, I'm going to kill all them mother effers. I'm going to get them, man. They put my brother in the hospital like that. And now he's out on the prowl looking for them. And now he realizes, wait a minute, they all going to Ruben's funeral. I'm sure the whole Fernandez family going to show up. So now Kurt out there with his guns and he's waiting. And the Fernandez brothers is back at the house doing whatever business they doing. And the mother and the daughter goes to the funeral. As soon as Kurt see the mother and daughter, he just pulls the gun out with so much reprisal on his mind of revenge and retaliation. He don't care. He just want a Fernandez, period. He don't care who it is. And he just pulls his guns out. Bah, 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 bah. And it shoots and kills the sister. And the sister falls into the mother's arms and the mother's screaming, ah! And he just like, man, I'm going to get them all. I don't care who. Y'all hurt my brother. I got a strong reprisal.
But I think he was sloppy, though.
He was
I
sloppy.
think he was very sloppy. Everything has its time and place.
True. So now, obviously, the word gets back to the Fernandez brothers, and they on the hunt for Kurt. And Kurt on the hunt for them. Remember, once again, the name of the book is Cry Revenge, Spanish against the blacks, because they like, oh, this, you put my brother in the hospital. Now I killed your mother. We out to get each other. And what y'all don't get is nobody sat down to think. Because Kurt had nothing to do with their brother Ruben getting killed. It was the cops that killed them. But see how when you got miscommunication going on?
Exactly.
So now, the Fernandez brothers, they saying, we going after Kurt, and we happen to know that Fat George be dealing with Kurt. So now, they going to Fat George's place. Yep. And at the same time, Fat George is telling his lady, come on, hurry up, pack our stuff. We got to get the hell up out of them damn Fernandez brothers. They coming over here. They out look. And she like, man, we ain't got to be running. He's like, look, bitch. Didn't I tell your ass we got to get the hell up out of here? They coming after us. And he's in a panic. And then all and behold, sure enough, a knock at the door. And when they go to answer the door get kicked open. And who is it? It's Pedro. It's Jay. It's Emilio. It's the Fernandez brothers. And it's like, yeah, where your fat ass thought you was running off? What's up with all these suitcases? And we see your car out there running hot. Your ass was about to fly the coop, wasn't you? That's how they should talk back in the days.
Right.
He's like, yeah, you was about to fly the coop, wasn't you? With your fat ass. And he's like, yo, man, come on, man. I don't want no harm. And George started being all loud. He said, come on, man, I don't want, please, man, don't do nothing. He's getting louder and louder. And we know when a person getting extra loud, that's a scream for help. And that's just what George was doing. Yeah. He was getting louder and louder, hoping that one of the neighbors or somebody could hear him so they could run to his rescue. So next you know, he's like, hey, man, come on, man. I got $30,000 in the suitcase right there.
Then he's getting stupider and stupider.
That was dumb.
Oh, my God. Why would that's your whole life in savings?
I was like, why would you say that? You stupid. Now, they either going to kill you and take the money or they're going to beat you and take the money. Either way, they're going to take the money. You stupid. So now, then all of a sudden his lady was like, George ain't had nothing to do with them niggas. He don't deal with them. You can even call Jack or whoever across town. He approved that he been getting stuff from them because he ain't had nothing lately. They calls the dude. Her story don't stick. Next thing you know, she started mouthing off. And they said, look, shut the hell up, bitch. We tired of you running mouth. And she still don't shut up. And they like, bah, dropped her.
She was strong, though. Because no matter how much beating she got, she was still talking. They beat the mess out of her.
Yeah, she was still talking. And they just kicking her like, shut the hell up, your lying ass. And then next you know, George, he just started getting louder and louder. Like, please, come on, y'all. Don't do this. Don't do it. And once again, that's a scream for help.
Yeah, like you said.
Anytime, we know how this was. When you was on the playground field, when you was in high school, when you out in the street, anytime a joke is being extra loud, that's a scream for help. Because you could easily take care of business. Like they say, real bad boys move in silence. But when someone's being all loud, nah, you stay the heck. This is a person, you better either silence them real quick or get the hell away from them because they screaming for help.
Right.
So anyway, so now, all of a sudden, his lady realized at the last minute, I got to get the hell up out of here. And she ran for the door. And that's when Jay, he had his knife and he was just picking at his nails. Because Jay was the type of person, he didn't do nothing unless somebody told him to do something at the time. He just picking his nails with his knife. And as she ran for the door, all of a sudden, Pedro's like, get that bitch! She trying to get away! And just like that, like a damn robot, Jay went into action.
See, that's why people like Jay, they could never be leaders.
They can't.
They can't.
You're right.
Because they just don't focus.
He don't know how to do nothing unless he's being told.
But after he does, don't you realize after he
don't realize what the hell he's doing.
He's in like in a trance.
And that's just what it was. Because sure enough,
I don't think he's have it up.
Just like that, when he told him to get her, he ran and snatched her by her hair and pulled her back.
Okay,
and
don't mess my hair.
he was so in a trance that when he grabbed her by the hair, he jabbed in the back with the knife.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't even realize he did it. And then when he pulled the knife out, he just seen all the blood. And then he slashed across the face and then slashed in her stomach.
He was brutal.
And then she just dropped to the ground and he just started beating on her. And it's like, he didn't even realize he did it. The knife was dripping with blood and he was just standing there. Next you know, George, who's never been a fighter, now George realized my life's on the line. And even though he's a big dude, finally he jumped up and he caught Pedro. And I was happy. I was like, fight, motherfucker. You gotta fight.
He tripped him.
He tripped him, then he caught him. And sure enough, then he started choking. Then he just kicked Pedro. And then that's when Emilio jumped on his back. And then he was fighting both of them jokers. See, this is a big joker that just didn't he never was a fighter, but now you better fight. And now as he was busting this joker up, now Pedro was screaming for his like, get him off me, get him off me. And now Emilio choked him out and got him up off him. And then they stabbed George. And then stabbed him again. Now he was going down. And then the other cat got him and now he's falling down on the wall. It's like, this fat motherfucker almost got him. And they stabbed him a bunch of more times. Now he's just bleeding and dying. And now, that's when, was it Emilio? I think he was the one, he grabbed the suitcase and he was like, man, I'm getting the hell up out of here.
Yeah, it was Emilio. And
he ran out the door. Just as he ran out the door and went down the stairs, cops was right at the door. He's like, hold it, freeze. And he ran back up the stairs. Just as he got to the top step, he got shot. And then he ran it down the hall. And then all the neighbors was opening up their doors and peeking out and shutting the door. And then he running down the hall. He turned around and wildly started shooting at the cop. Pop, pop, pop. And then poop, poop, poop. And he just shot. And at the same time, that's when Pedro looked out. And he seen what happened. He said, oh, shit. And then he tried to run down the other stairway. And as he tried to run, the cops came that way too and shot and killed him up. Now inside, because it was four of them. It was Emilio, Jay, Pedro, and it was one other. I don't remember who. Let's just say Luis. You know, typical Spanish names. Right? So now, Luis, he realized, damn, Pedro just got killed. Emilio just got killed on the hall. He was like, damn, I got to get the hell up out of here. So he took the chair, broke all the window glass, and went to jump. He was like, and Jay was just standing there with blood on a knife and looking down at the dead body of the woman, not even realizing what happened.
Yeah.
He just really clue. He just was still just standing there. So now Luis jumps out the window. When he jumps out the window, that's when the cop come busting through the door. And he's like, freeze. And he seen Jay, and Jay never moved. He was just in a trance. Don't realize what happened. And that's when he went to the window, and he seen the dude, Luis, look back up at the window. And he said, freeze. And Luis realized, damn, they ain't taking me alive. So he zipped to the left, zipped to the right, zipped to the left. He was like, yo, the cop. And the cop shot, pop, and missed. And he zipped again, because he... And then the cop was shot again and missed. And then finally the cop said, let me take my aim and bow, caught him. And then caught him again. Then he was dead. Yeah. And then now back in the room, they looked at Jay and he was like, drop the knife. And Jay, they said, he didn't even realize. They said, what's going on? What happened? Did you kill? He was like, I don't know what happened. Like he was actually in a trance.
Yeah.
And someone like him.
Well, that's what they said. Someone like him,
they said
he need to be,
he gonna be in an asylum. And that's just what happened to him because he was crazy, deranged. This is the type of person, like I said, he's like a robot that has to be programmed. He only do what he's told, and even when he do what he's told, he like goes into a trance. He don't even realize something that brutal. Like, yo, my man, you stabbed somebody up, and he don't even realize.
Seeing a person like that is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Because if you tell him to go and do the most drastic things, he'll do it. Because of an instinct. Yeah. And see, another vital thing we left out is when Billy got beat up and shot and paralyzed Kurt brother, that was all because of Dan. Dan had spread a rumor that he spread some kind of rumor to the Mexicans and that's how Ruben got killed at the pool hall. He lied and said, that's when they was coming to the pool hall and Dan ran in there and said, it's stick up kids that's coming in there. And Kirkman was all in there. Okay. And so when he had tricked all of them in the pool hall saying it was stick up. So when the cops bust through, they shot and killed Ruben
the bartender. They killed Reuben because Reuben and them thought they would stick up because that's what Dan said, but they wasn't stick up at all. So now because of that, and Kurt and them was all dead, that's why they thought Kurt had something to do with it. But this was all Dan's blabbing, junky mouth, his dope fiend mouth. And that's what that all. So now that they all dead, now Kurt finally saying to himself, oh, I ain't gotta look for them no more. And I ain't gotta be on edge because they all dead. Right. But meanwhile, Kurt paid this paperboy guy to find Dan. And sure enough, the boy been following Dan through town constantly. And Dan been sleeping in abandoned buildings. And the little boy, he went back to Kurt's house and he was talking to his sister and Kurt pulled up, right?
Yeah.
And he said, I found that guy that you're looking for. You said you was gonna give me $50. He said, yeah, you got the address. And then the little boy gave him the address. He said, well, look, here go $25 for you now. And when I go to the place, if he's still there, when I see you later, I'll give you the other 25. He said, if you want to take a ride with me now, I'll give you the other 25 when we get there. But if he ain't there, you gonna give me my 25 back. And the little boy's like, nah. That's okay, man. You go, man. I'll be all right. And sure enough, this is the part that, oh my gosh. So Kurt goes to the abandoned place. He's outside the abandoned place and he yells out, yo, Dan, is you in there? It's me, Kurt. And Dan in there, he's high out of his mind because he got some new dope and stuff.
Right.
And now Kurt realizes all the places boarded up, but when he goes around the back, he sees a missing board by the door. And he goes, that's how he must have got in. So I'm going to go in that way. So Dan crawls in on his stomach. Vital mistake he made. You remember why?
Yes. What's that a bunch of...
when he crawls in, you be jumping ahead.
I'm sorry.
When he crawls in on his stomach, all of a sudden Dan comes up out of his induced comatose drug state that he's in. And he hears vaguely Kurt name yelling his name. But he hears some commotion going on in the abandoned place and it's dark. Right. So he right away pulls out his knife. And he's like, he creeps over to, he see this body crawling in on his stomach under the door. And right away, Dan takes his knife and plunges the knife right into the back of Kurt, hitting his spine. Just like his brother. And just that quick, he go, God damn it, Dan, it's me, Kurt. And he turns around on his back finally, realizing the mistake he made in the first place. Right. He should have been climbed in on his back so he could see stuff. And that's when Dan finally like, Kurt, I didn't know that was you. I'm sorry, man. And at that time...
yeah, like sorry's going to do.
Yeah, like, Kurt just pulls out his 38 special and pow! And blows his balls off. And then with the second shot, pow! He hits him high in the chest. And Dan just hits the wall and dies. And then he hit him a third time, which the third time was not needed because the first shot did him in and the second shot really did him in. And Dan just dies. And now Kurt, feeling weak, and he's trying to move around. He tried to crawl back out, but he can't. And then he tried to move up, and he realized he can't feel his legs. And now he's just sitting there like, I can't believe it, shit. And now he's trying to move. And next you know, as he's trying to move, he faints.
That was the wrong thing to do. Well, actually, no. I mean,
yeah.
He didn't realize that death was...
yeah. So now when he faints, he wakes back up a while later, only to feel...
no, didn't he see two...
he seen
two little bitty eyes?
He seen some red balls moving, red round balls moving around by the walls. And he was like, what the hell is that? And then he took some matches out of his pocket and he struck the match. And when he struck the match to see what the heck that was, because it was so dark, all of a sudden he screamed out like, ah! It was a whole bunch of rats.
Rats, not mice, rats.
Eating Dan, his boy Dan. He was eating them. And he was like, ah, get away from there, get away from there. And then he pulled his gun out and the rats scattered, but then they realized he ain't doing nothing. The rats came back. So then he took his gun out, pow, 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 pow. And again, the rats scattered, but then now he was out of bullets. And
but
the
those rats were not afraid.
Yeah,
no,
rats ain't like mice. Rats ain't scared. So then they came back. So now he was like yelling and yelling, and then he was just feeling weak and groggy, and he fainted again. Only to wake up again. And then when he woke up again, he felt furry stuff all on his hands, and his hands was stinging. And when he looked down, he struck a match again. He was like, ah! The rats was crawling up on his hands, and they had bitten meat out of his hands and stuff. And he just screaming, "Get out of here!" And he fainted again. Only to wake up again, and he felt blood running down his face.
They were eating his face as well.
Oh
my God.
This was creepy. They was eating his face, and he felt it down his neck. And he was like, "You son of a bitch, these damn rats!" But remember, he paralyzed. He can't get up.
But he can crawl.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that
was
he should
creepy.
get that help. Instead of trying to be busy fighting and all that, he should find a place to get out.
Yeah, so then finally, on his last efforts, he was yelling at the mice and stuff, even though he had no bullets. But even the mice, rats. Even the rats, they finally realized what he had realized, that he was weak. And now all that yelling he was doing, he threw the pistol at them, they realized, oh, you can't do nothing.
But he also was losing.
We about to get you. Yeah, you talking, but
you
can't do nothing. We about to eat you.
Yeah, but he was also losing a lot of blood.
Yeah, but see
And
now, that part there, like I said that to you, where the rats even realize he weak. He can't do nothing. That's like what I said to you before. They eating him alive. And I've said that to you before, where I said, what's worse? Being eaten, what's the worst way to die, do you think? I always use these two, either eaten alive or burning alive.
No, Bobby, I think it doesn't make any difference. I think it makes no difference.
Either one is bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Either
it don't
one.
make any difference.
You being burnt alive, that hurt like hell. You being eaten alive, and in his case, that's what was happening. He kept fainting only to wake up, realizing meat was missing, this and that. And on his last attempt, he was trying to fight, but he felt himself, just like the rats knew. He weak. He can't do nothing. We're gonna get him. He was feeling that grogginess again, because he don't realize he was dying, because he was stabbed. He was losing mass amounts of blood. Yeah. It's like a lot of people, it's really sad where you got really poverty areas where people go to a blood bank / plasma bank, and they constantly giving blood because that's their way of getting money. But they gotta drink orange juice and eat something to rejuvenate their back. But if you're not getting rejuvenated back, you constantly giving blood, that's why they tell you gotta rest a little, because you be like, oh man, feeling weak. And that's what was happening to Kurt. He was losing so much blood from where Dan had stabbed him. He didn't realize he was dying. That's why he kept fainting. And then he'd wake up later only to faint again, because he was losing so much blood and had no idea that's what was happening. And them rats, they smelled the blood, they smelled the fear, they knew he couldn't fight back, and they was like, we coming to get you.
But that's so weird. Like I always ask myself, how do they have those scents?
Animals got them sense. They do. Animals got them.
They knew that he was weak, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So hey, on that note, we're gonna let y'all go. Hope you appreciate it. I got one more Donald Goines to get, and then it'll be the complete saga. As I said, this one is called Cry Revenge. The streets run red with blood when war breaks out between blacks and Chicanos. The word of the day was reprisal, which means
the act of retaliation.
And retaliation is revenge. And that's what the book is called, Cry Revenge, because it's like, we're going to get them jokes for doing this, and we're going to get them for doing that. George had to get revenge. Kurt had to get revenge. The Pedro brothers wanted revenge. It's like everybody was wanting revenge when the whole junk got all started because of the cops. No, because of Dan. Dan souped them up, Reuben and up, and the cops killed Reuben. And Dan started the whole thing. So yeah, on that note, subscribe, share, like, and comment. Peace. Hope you enjoy it.